Amanda Stickel of Stickel Financial Services. Amanda is an expert in all things finance. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So what made you want to go into this industry?
Yeah, I started back in high school. I really had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I actually wanted to get out of school early because I had all my core courses complete, but my counselor wouldn't let me. So he signed me up for extracurricular activities, and one of those was accounting at 101. And it just clicked ever since then. And I've always been interested in the business world. I have family in business, and I love like numbers and papers. And it just made sense. So I just stuck with it and grew it into what it is today.
So that's really interesting because my high school experience was very similar. I decided I wanted to stop taking Spanish. So I had to go into, and one of the options that they offered was business classes. So my introductory to the business world was very similar. So your title is virtual CFO. So what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so as a virtual CFO, I basically am a fractional CFO. So instead of hiring a full-on, full-time CFO for 6 figures a year plus benefits, I'm able to provide these services at a lower cost and be able to provide financial support. So having the bookkeeping system in place, creating financial systems, so they have a good understanding of cash flow. So they're able to make smart financial decisions. So they're able to grow, scale their business, and also have taxes top of mind throughout the year. So we're able to implement tax planning, tax strategies, and really have a system in place so they're able to keep more of their money in their pocket and save more in taxes.
So when you are talking to your customers, other small business owners, what are some questions that they typically have for you?
Yeah, so one of the most common questions to start is, how do I plan and prepare for taxes? And this is kind of like a twofold question. There's a lot that goes into that, but the foundation for sure is to have a bookkeeping system. So being able to track your revenue and your expenses all in one organized location. So an example would be QuickBooks Online, which is my preference for my clients and for myself. Wave accounting is an option, an Excel sheet. It can be as simple as a Dome journal. There's lots of options out there, so finding what works best for them. But then also having a separate bank account will make the whole bookkeeping system so much easier, and it keeps things separate and more organized. So that way, if you were ever to be audited or you didn't track your bookkeeping one month, it's easy and it's all in one place. And you don't have to go through multiple different bank accounts to find the transactions. And all of those two tips, the bookkeeping system and a separate bank account, is going to make tax time so much easier at the end of the year.
So do you have a lot of people that come in with like a shoebox of receipts?
No, because I train my clients to be more organized throughout the year. My big training tip suggestion for people is to set aside 15 minutes every single week, like actually put it in your calendar to block out the time to do bookkeeping. So going through your receipts and recording it somewhere, and having that every single week. That way at the end of the year, everything's already recorded and you don't have a whole shoebox of unorganized receipts and having no idea what's happening in your business.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you're talking to your businesses, and I know we just talked about taxes and tax season, are there benefits for your clients to create an LLC?
There can be. So an LLC is actually a legal state entity. So it doesn't technically have anything to do with tax purposes. In the eyes of the IRS, they see you as a sole proprietor still. So even if you just had a DBA, you'd be taxed the same way. In New York, there is an additional form that you file and has a starting rate of $25 per year. But it is beneficial on the legal standpoint to protect your personal assets in case any business liabilities come up. So that's the benefit for an LLC. Where tax benefits come into play is if you have a more structured business and you've been in business for a while, you're profiting $80,000 a year pretty consistently, you can make what's called in a tax election to be an S Corp. And then there's tax benefits to that. So it's basically like bumping up that LLC to have those tax benefits.
So with sitting down with a lot of small business owners, obviously that's what we do here at the WLDC. We help a lot of small businesses get up and running. But I do think that one thing they struggle with is, hey, how do I pay myself? How do I, especially in those first years, how do I make sure that I'm seeing some type of income?
Yeah, so definitely a big question because there's a lot that can go into that. But I think part of that is the bookkeeping system. So having a good understanding of where your revenue is coming from and how much is going out to give you a good idea of how much cash you actually have, and your cash flow will be so impactful. So, tracking your revenue by the different services that you offer or different types of products that you offer will help you understand where your money is coming from, where is your most profitable service, and also where maybe to focus on promoting something more. If you don't see the revenue on a service line, maybe that means you haven't been talking about it, so talking about it more, and just basically making more awareness and increasing the sales for that item. And then also being aware of your expenses. So really having a good understanding of where your money is going out, and if you can maybe cut things. Or one thing that I see often is that people aren't looking at their expenses, and then they end up double signing up for subscriptions. So they'll have like 2 subscriptions to like Zoom, and they don't realize it, so they're paying twice as much. Or they have a subscription that they tried out for like a trial period, and then they forgot to cancel it, so they're paying for that but not using it. So being aware of those expenses and making sure you're cutting things that you're not using, making sure they make sense, can really help you have the cash flow to be able to pay yourself. When it comes to paying yourself, it really depends on the different business structures that you have. So if you are just a sole proprietor or a single member LLC owner, you can just take the money from your business account, which we talked about, having a separate business account makes it easier to just see what's in your account, and you can transfer over a portion to your personal account, and that's paying yourself. Then you can use those funds for whatever you want to in your personal account. If you are a corporation, an S Corp or a C Corp, you can be on payroll at that point. So having a salary, having taxes withheld from your paycheck, but you can also have distributions in addition to that, which would be the same as transferring from the business account to your personal account like you were a sole proprietor. So there's lots of ways to pay yourself, but you have to pay yourself the right way. So not using your business account for personal transactions. And if you are a sole proprietor, you shouldn't be on payroll. But yeah, having those bookkeeping systems in place will definitely help you be aware of what you can pay yourself.
Do you have a lot of small businesses come to you at the very beginning, or is it usually once they've been established for a while?
Usually once they've been established, like 3 to 5 years. But I do have tax clients that come to me that are just starting out. So I'm able to guide them through that process in the tax journey. But usually my typical clients have been established.
So on top of being a virtual CFO and running your own business, you are also the executive director of Watertown First, which is how I met you. We do the Watertown block parties together. We sit on the committee. So tell us a little bit about what else you do besides being a virtual CFO, which is a big thing in itself.
It is, yes. I love being able to support women in their business, but also being able to support my local community. So as the executive director of Watertown First, which is a local nonprofit focused on supporting local and independent businesses, and also educating the community about the importance of shopping and supporting local and independent in order to create a self-sustaining economy so we don't have to rely on big box stores. And it also is a great organization where we bring people together. So helping with organizing the block parties. We also have another annual event called the Shop Local Saturday, holiday market, which is in the Paddock Arcade, which brings hundreds of people down there. It's a beautiful place. Robert from the Paddock Club does an amazing job at decorating and making sure everyone's excited and having fun. I'm also a board member on Family Counseling Services and the Resolution Center board, and they are a great organization for helping support children who aren't in the best family situation or not necessarily in a healthy or safe situation. We help offer therapeutic services, so counseling services to families, supervised visitation, so many other great services to just support families in the community. I think it's important to create a community that I love and my family's able to enjoy and also feel safe in. So just building up people all around is what I enjoy to do. Makes life better.
For sure. On top of all, I mean, you're a mom and a wife, and your husband's also a small business owner. So you definitely have your, a plate full.
Yes.
Full plate.
Yeah.
So as we know, finances can be very overwhelming. So maybe you didn't ask some questions or people have additional questions. How can they get in contact with you?
Yeah. So my favorite place to hang out is Instagram. You guys can find me at amanda.stickel.ea. Stickel is Stickel. I also have a website, www.stickeltax.com. And it has all my contact information in both those locations. Email is also great, amanda@stickeltax.com. But I am always around, so happy to answer any questions. And I also post lots of tips and strategies on my Instagram account, so be sure to follow.
Thank you for all the great information and sitting down with us today. Make sure that you do go follow her Instagram page. She also has stuff on Facebook, and make sure you check out our website.